Welcome to the Heroes of the Faith drama series. Today's story is about how Daniel courageously obeyed God and trusted that God would protect him no matter the danger he faced.
Alright, kiddo, it's time for bed.
Wait, but Mom, can't you read me a bedtime story?
Well, okay, sure, sweetie. What do you want me to read to you?
Read me one of your stories, one with the lions.
Okay, I think I know just the story. Tonight we will be learning more about a very brave and courageous man named Daniel. Daniel was a prophet.
What's a prop hat?
No, you mean a prophet. A prophet is someone that explains and shares what God says to other people. Daniel was someone who had visions and dreams from God about important events, and he helped people by sharing these messages with powerful kings and people of Babylon.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
It is, indeed. But tonight, we will continue from our bedtime story series about heroes of the faith. Over the past few nights, we've learned about courageous heroes of the faith like Noah, Moses, Esther, Abraham, David, Ruth, and even Deborah. But our next story will be a little different from the stories we have read in the past. While all of these people from the Bible were very brave, the story of Daniel is unique since Daniel's faith was truly put to the test since he had to survive a whole night inside a lion's den.
Whoa, that's crazy, Mom.
I know. What would you do if you had to sit before lions?
I'd be very scared, but it would also be kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I think I would be pretty nervous too. But before we learn about how Daniel got into the lion's den, let's talk more about who Daniel was. Daniel lived in Babylon, a big city in the Middle East. Ever since he was a teenager, he was born to a noble family in Judah, but was sadly taken captive to serve kings in Babylon. He was taken to serve these kings because he was very smart and talented. He lived in captivity for almost his whole life, a whole 70 years, and God continued to bless him for his faithfulness during his time serving the kings. He never once took credit. He always gave the glory to God. He helped many kings, including King Nebuchadnezzar, by interpreting his dreams and helping him understand visions. Although these kings didn't always treat Daniel right, and even tried to throw his friends into a fiery furnace, Daniel still peacefully served these rulers, and God helped protect his friends. And this evening, our story from the 6th chapter of Daniel is this chapter. Daniel is about 80 years old, and he served as a respected worker under King Darius' kingdom. Daniel was so important to King Darius that...
Who's King Darius?
He was one of the kings who ruled over the city of Babylon. However, it is believed that a powerful man named Cyrus the Great took control over Babylon, and King Darius came into power because Cyrus the Great wanted him to be in charge of the kingdom. Darius was the uncle of Cyrus the Great.
Oh, okay.
Now, when King Darius came into power, he appreciated Daniel's talent and wisdom because the atmosphere in the kingdom was quite dark and foreboding. It was a time of political corruption and bad deeds.
Why was it like that in the kingdom, Mom?
Honestly, many people in the kingdom were jealous of Daniel since he was a Jewish captive that had gained more power than the other Babylonian officials. They didn't like that Daniel had gained more popularity than them. Many people at the time also wanted to seek power for their own personal gain and were ruled by their jealousy. As you can see, jealousy is not a good thing at all because it changes how people act and only causes more problems and pain for others. It's very important not to use other people for personal gain. But as we learn more about King Darius in the Bible, you can see that the king really thought Daniel had a unique gift for his wisdom. The king even let him be in charge of over 100 different governors in the area. This shows how important Daniel was at the time since Daniel had favor with the king, other governors, and satraps.
What's a satrap?
No, honey, it's satrap. Satraps were people who acted as judges and tax collectors over certain parts of the land. They were important people who worked for the king and under Daniel.
Oh, I see.
And these government workers got very jealous of what Daniel had when they saw that King Darius respected him and wanted to honor him with a better job or promotion in the kingdom. The Bible even says in Daniel 6:3, "Now Daniel so distinguished himself among the administrators and satraps by his exceptional qualities that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom." So what do we know about Daniel so far?
That he was a very special guy that worked for the king?
Yes, Daniel was special, but wasn't special because of the king, but because he worked hard for God and was a man that was obedient. Do you know what obedient means?
Is it like when you finish all of your homework?
Well, sort of, but not quite. Someone is obedient when they listen to their parents or their teacher or someone who is in charge, and they are willing to follow their instructions out of respect and submission. Daniel is a great example of a man who was willing to be obedient to God, even to King Darius and other government people. However, he faced a lot of hardship in his life when a group of powerful government workers or satraps got jealous of him. These men were not very nice men at all.
But why were they not nice, Mom?
Well, these men were almost like bullies. You remember when one of your classmates at school stole Sam's lunch?
Yeah, that was not nice at all. I remember Sam was really hurt by Max.
Yes, you're right. It was not nice because Max stole Sam's lunch because he was jealous of what she got to eat that day, and Max was not content with what he had for his own lunch. And we know that Max acted out of jealousy since he was struggling with his homework and saw how your teacher, Mrs. Jensen, had complimented Sam on her good work in school. So like Max, these government officials in the Bible got mad when they saw the king honor Daniel and put him in higher positions instead of giving these government officials higher positions. These men wanted power, and they were willing to use lies and deception to elevate themselves, even if it caused harm to Daniel. So like the bully from school, these men created a plan to get what they wanted. These men tried very hard to create a plan to make Daniel look bad to the king.
You know what I just heard about this prophet scum Daniel?
Ugh, no, what now? I'm so tired of King Darius praising this guy. We've been working for this kingdom for so long, working long hours and helping the land. And what do we get in return? Nothing. That's what I say.
I know. I'm with you. And what I'm about to say is just gonna make it worse. I heard that Daniel is up for another promotion.
What in the world?
King Darius wants to put him over the entire kingdom. Can you believe this ridiculousness?
What are we gonna do? We have to stop him from this.
I know. What's worse is that King Darius wants to put Daniel over the kingdom to rid the kingdom of waste and bad deeds. Like this man, who says he follows God, knows how to get rid of this kingdom of evil.
Ha, that's so silly. Like he would ever know how to help this kingdom. You know, I see him praying on his knees to this God every day. It's ridiculous. He just sits there in his window, and I heard he doesn't do this just once a day, but 3 whole times. What a waste of time. If he spends all this time praying, how will he ever have time to help rule the kingdom like King Darius wants? What lunacy has this kingdom come to?
He seriously prays 3 times a day? I don't know what King Darius thinks. If he plans to make this guy so powerful, he has to be stopped.
We've got to think of something. You know, I bet if we get King Darius to sign a new law, it's got to be something that we can use to get Daniel in trouble. Something that could stop him from praying to his God.
Ooh, good idea. Since Daniel has a fairly clean record, we will have to use this law to get him in trouble with the king. What if we show the king a law that would make everyone have to pray to King Darius and not to any other god? King Darius sure does like his own reflection. I bet he wouldn't mind a law that makes his image look good, and I bet he won't even think about how this might hurt Daniel.
You're a genius. This will be great, and it would be so difficult trying to get Daniel to do anything wrong, but maybe his faithfulness to his God is what we can get him in trouble for, because that is something that goes right to the core of who he is.
Absolutely. I'll draft the papers right now and write down all that we have just said. And we'll have to make it so that King Darius cannot take the law back. It will have to be a permanent law, something that the king will be completely bound to.
Yes, write this down. So if anyone breaks the law, they will have to face the punishment of death, or...
What if they are thrown into a den of lions?
That's a great idea. Write that down and say that all must pray to King Darius for the next 30 days. And if anyone breaks this decree, they will have to suffer the consequences of the lion's den. Did you write all that?
Yeah, I'm writing it all down now. Surely this will catch Daniel, since he always prays to his God. I wonder what he will do after we get King Darius to sign this.
Well, let's see. Let's go over to His Majesty's office now and get this signed.
King Darius, Your Majesty,
Yes? What is it?
we need to meet with you urgently.
What do you need? Well, Your Majesty, we have an important law that we think should be officially signed by you. Oh? For what reason is this so pressing?
Well, Your Highness, we notice that many people in your kingdom don't respect you as much as you desire. Don't you want your kingdom to be strong and filled with loyal individuals that recognize your greatness, your power, your esteem?
Why, of course. I thought my people did respect me, and all the good things that I have done for Babylon. Who told you otherwise? This must be fixed immediately.
Of course, Your Majesty. I'm glad you agree with us. You see, we only want the best for your kingdom, and we value the positions that you have put us in because we seek to serve the lowly common people of this kingdom since we want your kingdom to reign for a long, long time. We did this out of respect for you, you see. We thought there should be a new law that requires everyone in the kingdom to pray only to you, and not to any other god.
You see, we have seen the other members of your staff praying repeatedly to other gods, and we are disgusted by this fact because not everyone in Babylon is committed to you and your greatness. May King Darius live forever. The royal administrations, prefects, satraps, advisors, and governors all have agreed that the king should issue an edict and enforce the decree that anyone who prays to God or any god or human being in the next 30 days, except to you, Your Majesty, shall be thrown into the lion's den. Now, Your Majesty, issue the decree and put it in writing so that it cannot be altered in accordance with the law of any Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed. Well, you seem to make a good point here. Thank you for bringing this law to my attention. Show me the papers.
Yes, of course, Your Majesty. Here are the papers, and you can just sign them right here at the bottom.
Signed here, you mean? Ah, yes, I see. Good.
May King Darius live forever. Thank you, Your Majesty. We will now go and tell the others about this.
And then once this law was made known...
Wait, Mom, why did those people trick the king?
Well, honey, they were so unhappy that they wanted to cause trouble for Daniel. Let's keep reading the story so you can learn more.
Oh, okay.
Daniel 6 verses 10 through 11 state, "Now when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened towards Jerusalem. Three times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to God, just as he had done before.
I bow before ye again, as I have always done, for my life is in your hands alone. I thank you, Lord, for your mercy that has followed me all my days, for the wisdom you granted in the
When Daniel was in his home, he would go upstairs and pray right by his window. You know how we always pray right before you go to bed?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Well, Daniel had a special routine too, but as you can see,
Nor fail with the rise and fall of kingdoms, though the laws of men shift like deserts.
Daniel was taking quite the risk praying in front of his open windows every day, especially since they had just passed the new law banning prayer.
Been my refuge since the days of my
And when he prayed, he'd get down on his knees and face the city of Jerusalem, since that was Jewish custom.
O Lord, God of Israel, Ancient of Days, your servant
He would
bows
begin by praying for the people of Babylon and ask God to forgive them for their
Have pity
sins.
on the people of Babylon, O Lord. Forgive their pride and the blindness of their ways. They do not know the God who formed the heavens. Turn
Daniel
their
would
hearts
also
toward truth
pray
and
for the
peace.
other Jewish exiles, asking God for deliverance, since many of them were captives like Daniel was.
The exiles of Judah, scattered and weary, strengthen them, protect them, and let your hope rest upon their spirits. Bring deliverance in your time, as you have delivered our fathers before us. Let them know, even in captivity, that their God still sees.
So you can see how brave Daniel was by continuing to pray to God. He risked his own life, but still decided to open up his windows and pray 3 times a day, since he knew being obedient to God meant far more than being obedient to man's broken
Trust in what
laws.
is divine, not in what is flawed, and place all things in your righteous hands.
He didn't have to do this, but he chose to continue being faithful to God instead of trying to hide away. Daniel could have run away or decided to follow King Darius's law, but he didn't because he knew following God was far more important. And it was not long before these evil government men saw Daniel praying,
As you have delivered our fathers before us, let them know, even in captivity.
and they ran to find King Darius to tell them of how Daniel was not keeping the law. The men said to the king,
Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or human being except to you, your majesty, would be thrown into the lion's den?
Well, the decree stands, in accordance with the law of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed.
Well, Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, your majesty, or to the decree you put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day.
What? Well, there must be something that can be done. Daniel is important to my kingdom. Remember, your majesty, that according to the law of the Medes and Persians, no decree or edict that the king issues can be changed. Fine. You're correct. Bring Daniel to the lion's den, and I will talk to him before we leave him there.
This is what you get for praying to your god and not following the king's law. What will you do now to stay alive? I will trust my God to save me.
Now, Daniel, may your God, whom you serve, continually rescue you.
Wait, but Mom, how could the king do that? That's so scary. He just sent Daniel to his death.
I know, honey. It does seem very alarming, but as we keep reading, you will see that God saves the day. Let's go back to the story and keep learning. The king was very concerned and paced all night inside his palace.
Oh, I hope Daniel survives. He has faithfully served my kingdom. I sure do wonder if he will make the night. I can't wait for the sun to come up. This is almost unbearable.
I don't know if these officials were ever in their right mind suggesting such a law to me. I wish I had thought of another way to handle this situation. I should have not let those evil men trick me like that. There should have been another way to handle this. Ugh, how could I ever let those men work in my kingdom? This cannot go on.
As you can see, King Darius was furious that these evil government officials had tricked him into having to follow their law against Daniel. The Bible even says that King Darius was very troubled and concerned for Daniel. This shows how the king really valued Daniel, and the king had hoped he would survive the night, but even he knew there would be a slim chance that Daniel would survive. How would you feel if you were in the King Darius's shoes?
Well, if I was the king, I would be very worried too, Mom. It would be very hard to believe that Daniel would survive the lion's den.
And I would feel the same. But we know that we serve a big, strong God who can do wondrous things by protecting his children from harm. This is one reason why this story in the Bible is so important to understand. When we are in trouble, God will never leave or forsake us. You must remember that when you ask God for help, he will help carry you through any situation, even if it's a lion's den. Now, let's go back to the story. The Bible says that King Darius did not sleep at all that night, and on the next morning, he was determined to go right out to the lion's den to search for Daniel.
Oh, it's dawn. I'm going to go out there to see if he's still alive.
There! Open that cave. Move that boulder away. Come on, quickly. Let's go. Move that stone. I must see that he is still alive. Incredible. You are alive and not hurt at all.
Bring this great man of God, Daniel, out of the lion's den immediately.
Your Majesty.
Oh, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, able to rescue you from the lions?
May the king live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever done any wrong before you, your Majesty.
Incredible! Where are those men who tricked me into signing that evil law? Find them at once and bring them to me. They must be thrown into this lion's den and bring their families too. May you prosper greatly. I issue a decree, in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions.
And from that day on, Daniel was respected and prospered in King Darius's kingdom, and that is the end of the story. What did you think?
Wow, so Daniel really survived a whole night in the lion's den? How did he not get eaten?
Well, God protected him, honey, because Daniel was a good man and he did nothing wrong. You see, with this story, even though those evil men tried to harm Daniel, their tricks never worked because God always protects his people and protects those who trust and rely on him. Daniel was completely blameless and innocent. God knew that, and that is why he sent the angels in close by the mouths of the lions. We serve a big God that can do many great things if we are willing to be obedient to him.
Wow, that's insane, Mom. The lion's den sounds pretty scary since those bad men and their families didn't even make it out of the lion's den. Why did that happen, Mom?
Well, there's no easy answer to that question, but you can see the bad men were corrupt and evil, and sadly they faced the consequences of their actions. They were not honoring God with their actions, and they were not obedient. But we can see how God still works good things out even in hard situations, and he used King Darius to help Daniel, in the end by honoring him with high positions in his kingdom. While we may not always know all the answers, we can trust that God will not only protect us, but he will help us overcome any difficult situation, even if it is not a lion's den. Now, it's time to go to bed, so let's turn out the lights. And why don't you go ahead and get under the covers now?
Okay, fine. Yes, you're right, Mom. Thanks for reading me a story. I definitely want to be courageous like Daniel.
Yeah, you are courageous, honey. Now go to sleep, and we'll talk about more heroes of the faith another night.
Tune in for next time, another episode of Heroes of the Faith, to learn more about the incredible story of Moses and how he went against the Pharaoh and brought the Israelites across the Red Sea, all because he trusted in God.